That's funny. All right, everybody. Tonight is episode 2 of Musser Sports Live. This is a fun little show we've been putting together the last couple weeks. Talking hobby, talking sports, tying it together. And today on the show, we got a lot of fun things to talk about. Week 1 of football is always a good time. I love it because up here in the right-hand corner, we get to see the TV for Monday Night Football tonight. So excited about that. A little Raiders action, a little Ravens action. And then again on the show, we're going to have some football week 1 recaps, talking about quarterbacks especially, and the baseball playoff, baseball playoff picture is coming into picture. So we can talk a little bit about that. And Charlie's obviously going to bring some stuff from the eBay store and things of that nature. And we get to preview the card show that Musser Sports will be at this week.
Our first ever card show.
First ever.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff? And Jeff is over there. He's waving high like a frantic madman, of course, just like Derek Carr is tonight. So again, if you guys have questions at all, I know as this show is developing and we'll get a little bit more of a structure, but if you guys have comments and questions, put them up in the Instagram live. We'd be more than happy to talk, with what the audience is saying and everything else like that. Like we'd love to have your interactions.
Yeah, we will try to answer it as you ask it.
So you don't have to sit here listening to us talk for 45 whole minutes.
Yeah, if you want to know something, ask it.
Even though you should be sitting here for 45 minutes on a Monday night, right? All right, cool. So take us away, Charlie, with what you're seeing in the hobby this week.
All right. Well, with the return of football, we've noticed a definite uptick in buying single packs, select. The football pack market was just almost non-existent up most of the summer. We're almost wondering, like, why is that? Is it because blasters are so expensive? What is that? But now that football is back, we noticed more individual packs being bought up. Mm-hmm. But definitely football, rookie cards. I saw CD Lamb after Thursday night's game. That sort of really pushed football into high gear.
Thursday night had the highest ratings, I believe, in like 5 or 6 seasons or something like that. So people were watching, people were energized. Probably helped that Dallas was on the main card as well as Tampa.
And it being a shootout was definitely it satisfied a little bit of everybody. Like even Dallas fans had something to take away from it. Like, hey, we did all right. Like it wasn't a total meltdown.
They get that false sense of energy every year. We them boys, and then they go 8-8. But you can't go 8-8 this year. You can go 8-9.
Oh yeah.
Or 9-8. So you can't go full Dallas.
That is true.
But yeah, CD did ball out 7 receptions, 104 yards, touchdown. Good way to start the season for CD.
Yeah, we have quite a few Prism rookies, and yeah, CD's been a popular one. What else in the hobby pulse? I'm seeing NBA prices are still down. I think this is a good time to be buying in for the upcoming season. It's really still the studs. Like there's not a lot of speculation, but the basketball market's been it's picking up. Like you're getting the views, like you're getting volume, but the prices just aren't there yet. Mm-hmm. Baseball's strong. I think baseball has been one of the biggest surprises to me, really, is that baseball has been strong all season long. Just even Acuna, Tatis, it doesn't matter if they're hurt, if they're playing. Like Vlad Guerrero, all the studs are selling well. Even like Franco, his prices took a little bit of a dip, but then as he's been 39 straight games getting on base, he's starting to hit the ball. Being a productive member of the team, his prices are back.
What was his injury like? He was only...
Well, he had a couple. He got like a head injury. He had to do a protocol. He was supposed to do a signing with Slab Stocks at a card show they had last week with like 2,500 people there. But Franco had to reschedule because he got hit in the head. Then he had to do a concussion protocol. And then I think he tweaked his ankle or something.
Yeah, we got a right
over the weekend. So
we got a right hamstring hamstring strain,
Okay.
10-day IL stint.
Hamstring. Okay.
He's getting an MRI to determine the severity of the injury. So Tampa, no matter what, they always seem to find a way to push through anyways.
Well, they've always been a team of next man up.
Yep.
And playing as a team.
So
Joey Wendells and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just plug Joey Wendell in and they'll be fine.
But I was going to say, they don't think they're going to baby him because they need him for the playoff run. They're actually in first place, and they can't really afford to just, hey, we're going to sit him the rest of the year and bring him back next year. I think they want to get him back.
Well, September is also that time, too, where you have people hitting the 10-day IL with, like, fringe injuries. Like, pitchers, you see it all the time. Like, Garrett Cole might have tweaked an ankle.
Yes.
So he'll, he didn't this time, but he's got fatigue. Well, it's just to save him.
It's interesting you brought that up because Clayton Kershaw is a classic example of that. Like, they shut him down in July because they know they need him in September and October.
They got 45 days of Kershaw. When can I use it?
And that's exactly. We're bringing him back. He has a shoulder, this and that. No, come on.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's getting a midsummer break, so he can be the workhorse coming down the stretch.
I would think that most of these guys aren't babies enough to where they could step in if they really needed to and pitch that night if there was a playoff game. But I do agree that 162 games is a long season. So,
but Kershaw, he's coming back tonight. So
there you go. First start
since coming off the IL.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. You want to go into the next one there, and then we can talk some football.
Yeah. Before we get into any other sports news, just something that's been on my mind. I know I've been hearing it in other podcasts, just with third market grading and pop counts. It's something that is new to the hobby as far as everyone paying attention to it and it having a daily number on Market Movers, Card Ladder, Sports Card Investor. Everyone's like, what's the pop count? What's the pop count? What's the pop count? Well, you have a, Zion rookie, Prism base rookie, and there's, I don't even know how many of them are on there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 of them that are PSA 9. And there's still a whole bunch of cards out there that we don't really know that are still submitted. So it's like pop counts is a number that as an asset that's appreciating value, I really don't like the idea of the population always growing. It's not becoming more rare, it's becoming less rare as time goes on. So I wanted to just kind of put it out there as for if you're putting all of your money into graded cards and thinking it's it can't fail, I feel like you're going to be very disappointed over the long haul. There's a bubble in grading, and there's a bubble with just the whole understanding. It's a new market. And I feel like people just kind of found a market to exploit because there wasn't a lot of data connected to it. There wasn't a way to track it like there is now. They're starting to get more technology.
Yeah. And
I think some of these market leaders took advantage of a market that wasn't really there yet. Because anyone that's first there, hey, well, when the pop counts are low and you have a PSA 10, you're going to get top prices. Well, now everyone wants to get those prices. So you saw what happened. Everyone threw their cards to grading. It actually broke PSA. And it broke
such a long
BGS.
time. Yeah.
And then they're charging $300 for express grading. So you're going to have to drop several $100s just to get it graded.
Right.
So you have to get a 10 on top of it.
Is the short answer just to go after serial numbered cards? Or instead of a base card or a base
card? It's a way to lock in your rarity.
That's great. If it's out of 99, then okay, we know. But but a base, rookie card, how many do they come out with a year?
And that's the thing. The manufacturers, they don't actually give you print runs.
They probably never disclose that, right?
No, they don't. Because if they're still in a sealed wax box, it really doesn't even matter necessarily if it never gets opened.
Correct.
So it's really only what enters the market. And so, that leads me to what's the safer play? It's your numbered cards. Because then you only have 99. So then if you can get that graded, and see, that's what grading was really intended for, is for your refractors, your high-end cards, your vintage, your something that needs to be saved or have high value. Like a base card is not something that you'd want to hold on to as far as.
So why then do base rookie cards seem to have tremendous value then in the hobby world? Like, obviously not compared to a 1/1 or something crazy like that, but if you got a base rookie Acuna, you probably want that graded,
and
right?
that's,
so
and that's the thing.
Where's the...
You're right, and it's really left to the elite. It's only like 3 or 4, maybe 5 in each sport.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, it's like that's the exception to the rule, is that but you can have a base card, but there's only going to be about 5% that have any real value. The rest are going to be common. So it's easier to go with the refractor.
Yeah, I spent some time this year, going after Jeter cards, and I found a little loophole almost in eBay where I was getting anything graded by Jeter under $10, and I would flip it as I got closer to his induction day. I was flipping them for $15 to $20.
Okay.
All day long, no matter what, and I had about 35 or so, 40 cards of that, and I just did that for a little while, and it worked. But some of those were like, 7s, 8s. They were all PSA.
Yep.
But obviously, the closer or the further back it went to his, 94, 95, 96 season,
closer to the
better,
rookies?
obviously.
Okay.
That later his career, it wasn't. But that same, it might apply the same way. I mean, a Franco rookie card is going to be better than his year 2 or 3 card, obviously. But I would say, just me personally, if I was holding on, so I'm doing this with football this year. I'm probably in the same boat. I'm holding on to a personal collection of maybe 30 to 40 rookies from last year. But they're the rookie cards. I'm not getting them graded. I have 6 or 7 Chase Young rookies and Justin Jeffersons and things like that. But I'm almost kind of waiting for them to take off a little bit long term.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing if they pop, and then maybe, obviously if PSA has, not so much of a line at that point, but then maybe sending them in to get it graded. But I feel like the hobby went way up. Everybody said, okay, I got 50 cards to send in. Let's go do it. And that just kind of overloaded the system. Is that accurate?
That's true.
Or is that...
That's true. Yeah, and that grading is something that they think like, oh, well, how fast does it take to grade? Well, if you want to get a good job of grading, you don't want them to rush. Like, I'm just speaking on slabbing and just prepping our cards raw. I mean, it takes me 10 minutes, and all I did was put it in a case. Because I just made sure there was no dust. I cleaned it, inspected it, all that. Now, if you actually grade it, I mean, I don't know exactly how long it takes for PSA to do it, but I would imagine it's going to take them 20, 30 minutes or even longer per card if you're going to enter it in and all that. Well, if you do the math on that, I mean, if you're receiving hundreds of thousands of cards daily,
I can't imagine.
how long is that going to take?
I can't imagine what they felt over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The average grader, I can't imagine. Yeah.
And that's where, like, to feel like, oh, well, I have to have it in a slab graded or it's totally worthless. And that's really not the case.
I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to flip cards on eBay and
that's
make
what I think
incremental money, then fine. But if you're playing the long game and you think, the Acuñas of the world are going to pop in the hobby world for 10 plus years, hold on to the card. You don't have to rush it in to get it graded, right?
Yeah, and like just on a side note, just the bulk submissions and stuff, I've been hearing some crazy stories as far as like some of these bulk graders, they wait to see what everyone's sending in, and then they'll like, oh, you're sending in a 1993 Derek Jeter SP. Well, I'm going to send in mine too. And then whatever one gets the higher grade, I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to send you, the paying customer, the lower grade. So like these bulk submission people are just cherry picking the best grades out of there. So there's a lot of manipulation going on too, and that's sort of what I'm wondering with third-party graders is, how much of it is just a racket?
Yeah, I can't imagine. If something's not numbered, serial number-wise, and you're just sending in those base cards, you don't know who's grading it on the other end.
And down the road, I mean,
all speculation, but...
Sure, down the road, you don't know if the pop count is going to be 10 times what it is today. And that's what would worry me.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing. I like, Charlie, when you bring in a couple minutes of good sports talk, sports card talk.
Yeah.
All right, so yesterday we got to experience week 1 of the NFL, and it's always the best time, especially in my house. I say, all right, wife, give me, give me like 6 hours of a break here, and let me just enjoy football, and then throughout the year we can go to the park on Sundays, and I can have
family
it on my
day.
phone, right?
Family
But yesterday was just, sitting in front of the tube. We broke it down into year 1 and year 2 quarterbacks. So if I'm just looking at this list, like the year 2 quarterbacks of Tua, Burrow, Hurts technically, and Herbert are much better. They pop off the page a little bit more than Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence and even Trey Lance. Justin Fields got some time. Mac Jones might be the best quarterback because of the situation that he's in.
Yeah.
But those year 2 QBs, Kyler Murray was right around there too. So I think they really pop. The rookies got a little bit of a learning curve.
Yes.
For sure. So what stood out to you? Let's go to the year 2 quarterbacks, tying it into the card world. Who showed out to you?
Well, Joe Burrow was the first one. Just his efficiency, the way he managed the game, how he got Joe Mixon involved. He was able to hit his receivers. T. Higgins got involved. Like it seemed
Jamar Chase balled out.
Yeah, and it seems like Joe Burrow picked up right where he left off. Like that was what showed. Like I was a lot of positive signs. Like he should have been accumulating his cards this whole time. Because the base rookie was at $50 going into the season, so you're looking at 100% upside.
Right.
And Herbert, I think he was like your best. I think people were most impressed with Herbert after coming out of last year.
Because he didn't get hurt.
He didn't get hurt. Yeah. He had the best overall numbers. 31 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he won the game. He showed up. I thought he looked. I think I'm looking at wins. I'm looking at being able to win. I thought him and then Jalen Hurts, just those three that showed up. They put up good numbers. They looked like veteran quarterbacks.
That whole list won yesterday. Just
Tua,
that now.
Burrow, Hurts, Herbert.
Miami
all won.
Miami did win.
And Miami won
in Foxborough.
New England.
Yeah.
And that's big time. And that's why I thought, well, Bill Belichick, this is his year that he has to win, and he's not doing it. It's another year to show that, well, I think it really was Brady.
What happens if they go 8-9?
New England?
What happens? I guess it depends on
Robert Kraft looking for a change?
I don't know. I don't see
Does
how
Belichick get to stay as long as he wants?
Belichick would have to go multiple straight losing seasons without developing a defense and the quarterback position and all that to get fired, right?
You can't just fire somebody. You need to have a replacement.
Belichick has the key to the city. There's no way that
I agree.
Yeah.
You can't just fire somebody because you need to replace them with someone. If you don't have a good replacement, you don't want to just fire somebody out of spite and then be like, well, now who am I going to...
So Mac Jones is probably the right play by Belichick. Belichick versus Cam, but I think he's got obviously he's got a really long leash there in New England to make it work. But he still develops the defense really well. It was a low-scoring game. It's not like they got burned.
It was 1 point.
Yeah, it was 17-16 or something like that.
Yeah.
So the quarterback, I'm going to be super biased here, but that's who cares. So Jalen Hurts yesterday just flat out balled out. The Eagles fan base is very cautiously optimistic going into this year, and it actually was good, I think, because we had no expectations. New coach, entirely new coaching staff, literally from top to bottom.
That's rare, though.
Yeah. Sirianni came in. You still had a changing of the guards, so you still had the Zach Ertzes, the Brandon Grahams of the world still on the team. They're probably not contenders this year, even though Tony Romo he said, don't be surprised if they get 10, 11 wins. And I'm like, easy, just call plays, Tony.
In the NFC, yeah.
But I still think they're, maybe 2 or 3 years away because those older guys from that Super Bowl run have to leave and maybe move on from there. However, he looked really good. And what Eagles fans saw was, yes, sloppy penalties all day long, Lane Johnson included, just really bizarre. But Hurts was doing stuff that Carson Wentz was not doing. He would throw the ball away when he was running towards the sideline.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz was like mind-numbingly like running out of bounds. Anyways, So I think Hurts did really well. I remember, tying it back to the hobby world, his cards went off there for a little while, and probably still consistent. Let's say the Eagles run out 3-0, 4-0. The Hurts cards come
Hurts
back.
cards, when he first came on the scene last year, his cards took off, and it stayed that way up until the end of the season. And then it seemed like everyone forgot about Jalen Hurts. Like his prices from its highs retraced about 50%. So I'm going to use raw prices, but his Prism base was up close to $50 at the end of last season. Well, just before kickoff, you could get his base card $25-$30.
Yeah.
So I bet you by this time next week, you're going to be seeing prices going back up towards 50.
Yeah. So they did play Atlanta. I'll give you that, but that's probably why they're not getting as much love today as some of the other quarterbacks. But Hurts really did well. He moved up in the pocket when he faced pressure. Threw that bullet to Goddard in the end zone. So keep an eye on him. Obviously in the cards.
Well, I think what this is going to do is going to push Prism 2020 football blasters even higher. It's going to push 2020 Prism football cards, all of themselves, higher. Last year's rookies are a safe play. Buy Burrow.
Four of these at home.
Yeah.
And obviously Kyler Murray's on this list too, right? Did he come out the year before? That's such
this is his third
That's such a
season.
stupid question. This is his third year.
This
yes,
is
correct.
He has to win.
Such a dumb question. So we're not breaking down year 3 quarterbacks.
No.
But year 2, really good class, and I think Tua is like the 4th on that list because for whatever reason, they have Fitzpatrick.
It's because of his injuries in college. There's a lot of question with his leg and is he going to stay healthy?
Fitzpatrick, they were subbing him in and out or whatever. Yeah. I'd say just ride with Tua and see what you got.
Yep.
But from that list, I think all 4 of those guys, especially in the hobby world, they're going to hold their value. Personally, I think so. Burrow is coming back from injury. I get it, but
realistically, if you look at quarterbacks, their lifespan, they could be in the league in the next 15 years.
Yeah. It's funny. I heard a little quote on the radio today. Steve Young was getting interviewed by ESPN New York, the crew up there, and they made a thing about how good Brady looked, and Steve Young said he talked to Tom and said, well, they can't touch me, Steve. They can't touch me. So it's like these quarterbacks now, if you don't throw your arm out, you're going to play until you're 44, 45. Like if you want to.
Yeah.
And Brady, they're making 35, 40 million a year. Why not? Aaron Rodgers. It's like Aaron Rodgers considered retirement. I get it. But where else are you going to make 35, 40 a year? And you're the quarterback. It's I don't know. I personally don't.
See, when you have the offensive line, you see Tom Brady back there in the pocket. Is it just me, or is it his offensive line always blocks for him? Is it a way why is he able to get so much more out of his offensive lineman than somebody else?
It is a good point. The offensive line doesn't bleed.
Is he buying them Rolexes and all that? Is that why they block?
Well, they do that anyways, right? Each quarterback.
They take them out to eat.
But
I know
it's
that.
Man, dude. Well, they hit on what's his name, Wirfs or whatever. They hit on all these young studs in Tampa, or they did last year, anyways. And you're right. Even in New England, guys were good and they played hard.
He seemed like he'd have 7 seconds back there. He could just stand there all day looking for somebody.
And Nate Solder, it's funny because when Nate Solder left New England to the Giants, I remember New York radio, Nate Solder is undersized, he can't block, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, it worked for Brady, I don't know. You bring up a good point. It's like if Tom Brady...
I think certain players just get more out of other people. They're a good locker room guy. They can get more out of the same thing.
Is it being personable? Is that what wins in the NFL?
Well, I think they know that Brady's going to put his whole heart and everything into it, and I think they don't mind going to war with him. That's what I think.
Yeah.
They trust him.
I think there's a little bit of Arians too. If I think yes, you can give Belichick the credit, you can give Tom Brady leaving and being good on his own. However, Arians is a pretty good coach as well.
Oh yeah,
and they play for Arians.
He's an offensive, genius,
savant, right? And I saw this thing about his coaching tree. The coaches that he has on his team now in Tampa were all coaches that he met along the way in all of his stops, which is pretty cool too.
Okay.
I mean, they do that, they always pick their own guys or whatever, but it's like he has built a system. So Tom Brady's Tom Brady, whatever you want to call it, luck, whatever, that the greatest quarterback and the greatest coach got together. Well, he moved into a pretty dang good coach as well in Arians. So there's a lot going Tom's way, but maybe TB12 rubbing your muscles really helps.
Yeah, there's nothing
You're
wrong
44
with
years old.
taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Not being in a good situation.
Yeah. So everybody's trying to, and it's funny seeing quarterbacks half their age.
While we're on that topic, we have Aaron Rodgers, who's supposed to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, a guy that most people would hang their hat on and be happy as a fantasy quarterback or as their leader. But yesterday, Rodgers, he's making a case for Jordan Love.
He's straight up wet the bed, dude. So 53% completion percentage, 133 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, passer rating of 36.8. But he just straight up wet the bed. And I was hearing responses to him this morning, and it was more like people were like, "Okay, I get a bad game, but." This bad, or like your whole team, like you build up in the off season so much that you came back and you're on fire. You do all these pregame shows with Aaron Andrews and you're rolling out your man bun and you're and then you wet the bed like
and
that.
And you were also making such a big stink about, well, why isn't the Packers giving me all this respect and money and signing me and this and that?
Absolutely.
Well. Maybe
you gotta show up.
Management looks pretty smart right now.
Yeah, you got to show up, Aaron. So you're right. Jordan Love, came in relief there in the fourth quarter.
And he went 5 for 7.
Yeah.
Almost 70 yards. I mean, he didn't really do anything. I mean, the game was over already, so that had something to do with it. But
it is funny that Jameis didn't have a ton of yards in the air, but
he threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, but
and I think we talked about that last week in one of the hobby talks about Jameis Winston. And how his Prism rookie cards were hot. And now I think they're just... It's hard to find on eBay, I guarantee you, because people aren't flipping them yet. They're holding them, which is a surprise.
Okay, yeah,
That's a surprise for Winston.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. So the bigger story, one could argue, yes, it was Rodgers just completely wetting the bed, but Winston as well. I mean, they came in... they were playing a road game, even though they were a home team, but they played a road game on the road. Packers fans were all over that stadium.
Yeah, they always traveled well.
Yep. And Winston stood up and balled out. So I think it's a slight overreaction on New Orleans.
Sure, you're allowed to have a bad game, but week 1, though.
Yeah, and a slight underreaction on Green Bay, I think, would be the thing there. Watch for both of those teams to flip. But Green Bay's got a pretty great primetime game next Monday against the Lions for Rodgers to come in and once again show up and ball out.
But we'll see. We got Goff on the
team
as well. So you have, it should be interesting. But I want to just say, like, Jordan Love, I know his prices are down because everyone was saying, hey, Rodgers is the guy. It's complete speculation, but if you can get a Jordan Love or you happen to hit it in a pass, I'd hold on to it.
Yeah. Right. Well, no matter what, he's probably going to play next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play somewhere. And Rodgers, I would bet my personal gut is telling me that Green Bay does really well. Maybe they don't win the Super Bowl, but they get pretty close, and Rodgers just either is done or he moves on to another team. You think so?
I think so.
That's a kind of a hot take.
I don't know. Is it though? I don't know. I think Rodgers is done in Green Bay, but so I think Jordan Love's going to play no matter what in Green Bay.
No, I thought he could possibly trade him if he could say he has 4 bad weeks in the first, because it's week 6 deadline.
Yeah.
Week 8, something like that.
I heard a take this morning that it's more like this is the last stand. So you're wearing the Jordan jersey, but the Bulls started 4-4 that season, and they were called out on the carpet and saying that they were weak and ill prepared and all that. And people can relate to this because Devontae Adams is on a contract year. Rodgers might be out or whatever, and so I think people are rooting for the Packers to do really well. But I heard the comparison to The Last Dance that Jordan's Bulls struggled a little bit. Well, Pippen wasn't even there at that point.
Coming out of the gate.
Yeah, so I don't know, but we'll see. Definitely a primetime game next Monday.
Yep.
Goff did make it interesting there in the end with San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But I think it was a good opportunity for Rodgers to come out yesterday after an entire offseason of flack.
And that's what it was.
And
it
he
was
didn't
because
stand
of all
up
the
to it.
drama and all the big stink about the contract and why they're going after Love and this and that. Well, I think it shows why they were going after Love.
Exactly. He's that California boy, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, University of Cal.
He's got the man bun. Sorry, we're not high on man buns here at the show. Can you tell?
Oh.
All right, so year one quarterbacks from the list. Let's go with a winner and a loser. So Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Fields and Lance saw a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Who's your winner out of the year one QBs? Am I missing anybody? I think that's it. But
Well, my winner is, I'm going to go with Mac Jones because he played a tough game. I mean, he didn't win. Like I was going to go with the winner, but Justin Fields was close too. But Mac Jones, to me, he played a whole game. I mean, they were there at the end. Like, it showed promise to me. Like,
yeah,
that was my most impressed. I think Trevor Lawrence is more of like my disappointment. Like,
he threw 51 times.
the James Robinson. He only had the ball 5 times.
They were playing. Jeff was crying in a corner at James Robinson.
Well, that's the coaching. Like,
Zero
you gotta
fantasy
feed
points.
him the rock.
So he had 51 passes against.
He's a rookie. You gotta help your rookie quarterback.
It was really bizarre. Possibly the worst team in the NFL, and the Texans. Maybe not. Who knows?
Well,
but
they were pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So for Lawrence to do that, obviously the stat is the first loss since middle school. It was grade school,
like
college.
that matters,
yeah.
right?
But it was just funny. So I would say a slight winner that. Let's just go Zach Wilson for a little bit. So he was right behind Lawrence in the draft, and I think he's stepping into a super toxic team. Not necessarily with Robert Saleh and all that, but the Jets in general have just been this dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Might have broken Sam Darnold, who I think was really talented, still is. Carolina could do some things this year. So Zach Wilson, I think even his own dad came out and expressed disappointment or whatever. Like, are you sure you're stepping into the right situation?
Okay.
So for him to do that, new coach, and they only lose by 4 or 5 or whatever it was, in Carolina on a road game. Wasn't a great
against Darnold.
Yeah, against Darnold, ironically. So it wasn't a super great performance, but I think Zach Wilson they're going to have a little bit of a tough road. For them to be a winning team this year, they should have won games like yesterday. But I think he's talented enough. People said he's a slight version of Mahomes in the way that he can improvise and do all these things. So I think Zach Wilson, he didn't get blown out.
Uh-huh.
The game was not out of reach.
Yep.
Saleh looked decent in coaching. I didn't.
It kind of sounds like what I was saying about Mac Jones.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
It's like they didn't lose the game. Like, they did okay. They did okay. They managed the game.
Yeah. No, they did. They did lose their left tackle. They got carted off the field. So that's their back tire. Why am I drawing a blank? The big, huge dude. He was a top 10 pick. Anyways, so they lost him. I'm not sure for how long, but so Fields saw some time. Justin Fields, so Trey Lance saw some time. The Bears kind of got blown out there on the road, Sunday Night Football. How fast do they make that switch to Fields full time, and should they? Would be the question.
Well, that's always a good question, but it's like you got to be careful with the rookies. Sometimes you don't want their psyche to get damaged or to get broken. Like, you don't necessarily want to throw them into a bad situation, and like what could have been a good start, now like they're already starting under pressure. They're already out of it, nothing to play for. Like you said, like there's already injuries to the line. Like I don't know. I always worry about rookies. You really got to be careful when you put them in. Like, you don't want to flip flop. Like, you don't want to put the rookie in and then pull him out a week later, because then he's gonna feel like I lost the job.
Right.
And then so it's like you don't really want to make the change until you're ready to give him the team.
Mm-hmm.
So let him come in those situations. Let him get his feet under him and prove himself. Make it so that there's no choice but to play him. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and he did show up and threw a couple good balls there and everything like that. And,
he did score a touchdown.
And Dalton kind of had some clunky plays, so who knows?
Yeah. Oh, Dalton.
I know, it's so funny that, and I think Nick Jones is snooping around there, or Nick Foles is snooping around there too on that.
I mean, as far as like hobbies concerned,
Mhm.
it's always quarterbacks. Like
Right.
the quarterback is your guy. The only cards like running backs, there's only a handful of running backs that have any value whatsoever, and even if they do, it's only their rookie card or like an auto. And the next best under quarterback would be a wide receiver. The wide receivers, because they have swag, they got attitude. The kids like them. People like wide receivers, but it's quarterbacks, wide receivers. You're not going to get any money in defensive players. You're not going to get. I mean, you might be able to get like a Troy Polamalu auto or something like that. But other than that,
it would be like very team focused. Like me as an
Yeah.
Eagles fan would probably go after some Brian Dawkins stuff or whatever.
Mhm. There's
Polamalu
always an
for you.
exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But to play it safe or to somebody just getting into the hobby, stick with your studs,
Right.
QBs,
Right.
wide receivers.
All right, so we're going to break down a little bit of the baseball playoffs, and then we're going to get into some card stuff to round out the day. So the weekend was interesting for a couple reasons because my Yankees suck. They're just flat
they're
out
in the
terrible.
hunt.
They're flat out. Saturday and Sunday were interesting games because of the whole 9/11 thing. So Saturday night was actually was fun. Obviously the Yankees won, but so it made it more fun. But it was just a cool series. Yesterday got a little heated. Javi Baez, just him and Stanton stopped on his home run trot and looked around and was like John with Baez and all that. Now the Yankees did win today, but the Yankees are seriously slipping, and it leads for the stinking red hot Toronto Blue Jays.
They put up a 22 spot.
And Boston, is right behind them. So just to do percentages, I mean, the Yankees seemingly a lock for the playoffs, especially they went 34-11, 13-game winning streak there at the end. They're down to a 35.7% postseason percentage, chance of making the postseason. That's, less than half of what it is for Boston and Toronto. So they got some work to do.
Yep.
But Vladdy tearing it up.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a dip there in the home runs, but I think he's back in the swing of things. He's been hitting them every couple days. The Toronto Blue Jays, 5 different players with potential 100 RBIs for the season.
It's crazy. Their offense is just...
They keep scoring runs. Getting on base, obviously, is key.
Yep.
And they have, I think Vlad's on base percentage is well over 400, so...
Yeah, it's insane. So so just a hobby forecast here is the Yankees got an interesting decision to make with Aaron Judge. He's probably the most fantasy relevant player on that team. But Toronto's got like 3 or 4 guys there that
as far
Bichette
as,
and Vladdy and all
the
that.
hobby goes right now, like Yankees cards are not in that much demand. Like Aaron Judge, we could list an Aaron Judge card and it might get 1 or 2 bids, if that. And it's not going to be for the price you want.
Right.
There's really, like LeMahieu, nothing.
Yep.
I mean, maybe like a rookie
He's having a terrible year too.
But like
that doesn't help.
all these good players on good teams, the hobby doesn't seem to care about them. On the Blue Jays, you have Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero, but you have really good players. You got Teoscar Hernandez. Nobody cares about his cards.
Simeon's having a great year in a contract year.
But
he proved himself.
But the cards, the
I know.
values, they're just not there. Like it's kind of weird. Like how do you find a player and why are they going to have value? Like you just looking at the statistics isn't enough.
So Cavan Biggio, he's hurt, right?
Cavan?
Yeah. So
So
those 3, was it simply the fact that they had MLB dads? Was that, But like they all came up together.
Help. It does.
It definitely helps, but it was like between the 3 of them, there's like some added star power. Like Vladdy, everybody loves Vladdy Senior. Everybody loved him when he played. But so it's like finding like what does it take for that player to hit in the card world, versus being a really good player. Like you said, DJ obviously he's having a bad year, but top 5 in MVP voting 2 years in a row.
is it swag?
Is it swagger?
It
like
does.
I don't know. It hits
And
something in people that
Like
It
the
does.
Vlads
The other
and the
player
Bochetts,
doesn't.
They both have swag.
Yeah. Well, like Mike Trout. I mean, he's able to be hurt 20, 30 games a year, and he's still one of the most valuable cards.
It's sad because.
And that's
do
one
we
of the other
think his
things.
cards are actually going to start taking a dip now?
Yeah, I do.
Is the
I do.
straw finally going
This
to
is
break?
it. If he can't finish,
he's 30.
yeah, I know. But if he can't complete a full season, his prices are going to start taking it.
I
But
don't
his
know.
career WAR is already good enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I see these people breaking the bank for his rookie cards. And I'm just
I can't. I don't know if it's justified, but yeah, he's still too far away from career numbers as far as career home runs, he's still too far away. Like if his career would end, I think his cards would tank.
Like what is he? That's a good point. I mean, I always made the case that he's the greatest player I saw.
Like he's
live.
a 5-tool player that's amazing, but he's like Ken Griffey. He reminds me of Ken Griffey
I was
Jr.
just thinking
because
that it's Griffey
once
all
Jr.
over.
hurt his wrists and went to Cincinnati, he could never hit over 50 home runs again. He never had any full seasons after that.
So Trout, I mean, he's got 310
career home
not
runs.
even 1,000 RBIs yet, and he's hit 305 for his career, but
300 home runs.
300 home runs.
That's not enough
for the Willie Mays of
That's
our
not
generation.
enough. No. Because you got to hit 500. I mean, Pujols has 500.
I mean, look at the people that have Look at the people that have 500 this year.
And look at a Pujols card versus a Trout card.
Right.
There's a real disconnect there. So why is that? Is it because he's able to be popular with the kids and the young people?
Well, Cabrera almost hit. Didn't he hit 500?
Miguel Cabrera did, yes. He just hit 500 this year.
Yeah, so it's got to be...
And his cards don't pull anywhere near. Now his stuff is more popular than others, but baseball's the type of market that can hold there's more players. It's a niche market.
Yeah.
People go after prospects. Baseball is different than any other sport.
So Pujols hit his 500th in 2014, but I'm looking down the list. Frank Thomas played until he was...
Yeah, Thomas had a great...
But he was playing in... No, but I'm saying he was playing in 2007?
Frank Thomas?
I guess that makes sense. He was a 90s guy, but okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be the back end of his career, yeah.
So then Cabrera, 2021, so you went from 21 to 14, you went 7 years between 500 home run hitters. Yeah, it just takes a certain kind of something to reach that market. Like
staying healthy
Miguel
is important.
Cabrera, I would argue that if Miguel Cabrera would come up now in the current market, remember as a kid, he was 20 years old and the Marlins went to the World Series and all that. Like he would be so hot as a card, right now.
It reminds me of like a Wander Franco.
Mm-hmm.
The way he can the vision, his plate discipline.
So young, so good, so talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think Miguel might have been a generation too soon as far as, in the market. But, I mean, Mike Trout, he's shut down for the year. We assume he's coming back next year and all that.
But, he's no longer the number one pick in fantasy.
Yeah, let's say he hits, I think this year, finally did it, right? It's like, what if he hits another 100 home runs? What does that do for his cards? It can't be. He can't sustain.
How many seasons does it take? He should hit that in 3 years.
Yeah, you can't sustain what you're doing now in the card world for Mike Trout with the subpar play that we're seeing.
Yeah.
When he's playing,
and that's what worries me. Because you're gonna spend all this money on a great PSA 10 Mike Trout, like $10,000 plus.
Yeah, it's insane.
That does not sound like a smart investment to me.
And do you know what's crazy is, from this spring of this season to right now, you could have justified it. You could have went from justifying it to not justifying it in 6 months.
And the thing is, I'm not the only one saying it now, and there's a lot of people that are starting to see it.
That's unbelievable. So that wraps up just kind of the general sports news. Next week we're gonna have week 2 of the NFL. We're watching Monday Night Football right now. It's still 0-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're watching the Ravens and the Raiders.
The Ravens and the Raiders. So Lamar, still your guy there. How are the cards doing for Lamar Jackson?
They're steady now, but they're down.
Okay.
He last season hurt him, obviously. He was probably one of the number one cards to have going into 2020, and then the kind of what do you call it, a bust last year for Lamar? Was it a bust?
Yeah, I would say so.
It was disappointing.
Yeah,
his card value, he became almost irrelevant. Like nobody even wanted him But no, now he get a little rise in the preseason. There's some speculation, but no, everyone's watching Lamar right now. They need to see, like, is he gonna? Did they figure him out?
That's a good point. They're probably getting crazy ratings tonight just because of
Lamar. They want to see where he's at.
How did the Ravens end their year last year? Did they lose?
Close. It was they had a chance, but they ended up losing to the Browns, I believe.
Yeah, so I think Lamar has been they won a while, so they beat the Titans. What I'm getting at is I think Lamar has been kind of put into a corner as a playoff loser. They did beat Tennessee in Tennessee, right?
Did the Bills beat the Ravens?
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But I remember that Tennessee game. He did prove doubters wrong for kind of like the first time. He went into Tennessee and they beat them. Avenging their loss from the divisional round the year before.
Okay.
But then...
But, they don't have Mark Ingram now. I felt like Mark Ingram was a big piece for their running backs last year.
Dude, and Ingram and Phillip Lindsay and everybody else got touches in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was funny, but I want to say, I don't know why it doesn't show like their... Anyways, so I think Lamar is going to have to make a push this year in the playoffs for his Cards to take that next hit.
And it's like, this is a hard time to do it because the AFC North is stacked right now. The Steelers, the Browns, the Bengals.
Yep.
This is the year that you need to show up. I would not want that job.
So, yeah, I would... My personal claim in the hobby world... You can hold me to this as being right or wrong, but I think Lamar is going to have to go deep into playoffs for his Cards to start taking off again. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just him being in the MVP conversation. People tend to like Lamar because of his dynamic play. So
well, you got to look at all the quarterbacks.
He's like Kyler Murray.
It's the quarterbacks that have value. So like everyone, you're just going to look at the quarterbacks. Like, oh, who's down? Okay, well, I guess I'm going to try to buy him because he's got the most upside.
Yeah. You are right. They lost 17-3 to the Bills. It took me forever to find that.
17-3 to the Bills. Yeah, I remember it was a big dud. It was just
a giant dud. Yeah, so watch out for Lamar. I wish, as just a side note, I wish that the Raiders were good. I think the
There's
NFL...
Le'Veon Bell.
There he is. So,
he's not suiting up. That's not unusual.
Bell and Freeman, right? They were both out tonight. But I think the NFL... would love for the Raiders to be good.
And now they're in Vegas.
But I don't get why
the Vegas Raiders. Wouldn't it be so hard to be an NFL player living in Vegas or staying in Vegas?
You're
focused.
You're seeing.
You don't go near the Strip on Saturday night. You don't go near the
Strip. I guess all cities have that.
Yeah, I guess they do.
I mean,
not prostitution, but
I know that Nashville, like, you might not be a country guy to be on the Titans, but it doesn't help that Music Row is right there across the stadium. And
yeah, you're right.
I guess all cities have something, but you're right. Vegas would be insane.
A little added. Because
like,
you can gamble.
Oh my goodness. People, that energy that city brings, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll give you any kind of credit line you want. Hey, there's a breakout. There's a touchdown.
There it is.
Running back for the Ravens. That's Tyson Williams.
Tyson. He's the pickup of the week, right?
I believe so.
Well, we got 4 hungry backs in there at some point.
Yeah.
Bell, Freeman,
but he looked good
Murray,
there.
And
Tyson Williams.
He was technically the first guy on the depth chart, even after the Murray signing, right?
Yeah. Now, last year, I can't remember, James Robinson came onto the scene, and his Cards actually got a lot of play last year. James Robinson was a great buy to flip last year.
As long as Andrews don't get a touchdown, we'll get
I think Jeff won the league last year because of Robinson, or was that the year before?
The year before.
Year before?
Yeah.
So Robinson is close to our circles here. All right, so let's finish a few things with Cards. So sales of the week on the eBay store.
Sales of the week, I would say we've had, like I said, the individual packs have been hot. We've been selling CD Lamb. That's been pretty steady. Baseball, Ronald Acuna.
All raw cards.
All raw.
All raw. Yeah, we didn't sell any graded. We are still pushing our repacks. We're making a little bit of adjustment as far as pricing goes. Made them a little cheaper. Try to show a little more value.
Even though there is tremendous value in each
Oh,
pack.
absolutely. I made sure to put good cards in there. Like, I'm the one building these packs, so
Mhm.
I'm making sure to put all good cards in there.
The question is, would you buy one of our repacks?
Would I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
I could, if you want, like, okay, I could take a repack and I could list some of our cards out of there. And like I've had eBay listings and I just pull them off eBay and put them in a repack just because it might only sell for $3 or $4. But I mean, they add up. I mean, we sell cards for $4 all the time.
Nah, maybe next week.
Yeah,
maybe next
we
week.
will open a repack.
Let's do that next week.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
that next week. We'll show what we have. But no, I would definitely buy one. You could break that. I think you could double your money. You could double your money out of a repack.
Yeah, I think I asked that question because of the target audience who it's for, right? So if
Yeah.
you're an average collector looking for base prisms and this and that, then
You get parallels.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's sort of
Kids.
packs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing too. I mean, they're already in penny sleeves. Like, they're all in near
Yeah,
mint
like you can't
condition.
beat the value. It's a $35-$40 pack for
Yeah,
16,
absolutely.
whatever,
and
plus shipping.
like I said in our first episode, kind of my mantra and mission is to fill the cracks that eBay doesn't fulfill, and the mystery repacks scare me, and I want to provide an alternative, a product out there that is not a mystery repack, that it's like a legit repack.
That's a good point. So, the sub-average card collector, very minimal time spent in the hobby compared to Charlie and Jeff. But I'm there on eBay and different places like that, and it's repack, mystery pack. Especially when I was into it, maybe 6 to 8 months ago. And it was like,
And there'll be like a PSA picture of Mahomes.
yeah, and it's like, why would I ever buy that? So I think what we did is like you said, make the adjustment and actually provide some value. So we'll break one up next week.
Yeah.
We'll open up a pack.
I think that would be important to show some more of that. Some other sales
Mhm.
of note. We sold some other NBA hoops pack. Like I said, the packs started to make a resurgence. Baseball's been strong.
The NBA season, I had this pulled up earlier, but
What?
it starts in October, so we got some time here.
Yeah, I really like the select retail and the select hobby. Those hobby boxes, obviously, $1,600, I think. And I think I was looking at one. David Adams had them for like $939.
We're trying to convince Jeff to let us buy one. That's what
hobby,
we're doing.
I like the select hobby box.
So October 3rd is third of the
October
NBA.
3rd.
So we got
Okay, well that's
month and a
next
half.
month.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, I still baseball and football right now.
For sure. Okay, cool.
I think the biggest thing is the card show.
Yeah, talk about the card show.
The card show. I don't know if you can see. We have the Musser Sports sealed mag. I have a '94 Jordan. It's a Skybox Dynamic Dunks. But the sealed mags, like with our card show coming up, we are gonna basically have all of our sealed mags on display. We're gonna have all of our inventory is gonna be there. The repacks, we're gonna have factory sealed packs. We're going to have interaction with all the customers. We're gonna do video. We'll be
Definitely do some live video there.
yeah, and I'm going to be listing stuff. I mean, we're going to be there for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Berkshire Mall in Reading from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's
All 3 days?
Yeah, all
3
three.
days.
It's a full weekend. Yeah. Now, if we sell out, obviously, I think we might.
We're going on Saturday.
Who's saying we won't sell out by
But-
Friday?
Yeah.
No, it's an opportunity to just get our name out there, get people familiar with our faces, get to see some of our product, but I just want to try to get some feedback.
If you're local in the Lancaster, Reading, whatever area,
Yeah.
definitely swing by, say hello, probably do some giveaways.
It's less
do some
than an
fun
hour
stuff.
from Philly.
Mhm.
Not far.
Yeah, we should figure out where our
We'll be
audience
doing
is
some
from.
box breaks, right?
Do
We're
some
gonna be
box
ripping
breaks?
some boxes.
Yeah, we'll
Sure.
be ripping some boxes.
Convincing Jeff to buy up all of our competition's
Yeah.
cards at the show? Why not?
So, last week we opened Absolute, right?
Mhm.
We're going after a Kaboom. We did not get a Kaboom.
We hit the jackpot.
Jake
from Patch.
Yeah.
Just an absolute stud of a card.
And you know what? I did put it in a repack.
There you go.
I did.
The repack has value.
Yeah.
It has value. Very specific niche value, but.
Well, see, that's the thing. Some people, like, they build team sets, they collect team players. Sometimes it takes a few seasons for a player to become relevant.
Brahma's from Georgia, right? So it's
Yeah,
like.
he's from Georgia.
Like, I'm a Sooner fan, right? So anything Sooner related, I follow enough pages that they still talk about.
CD Lamb.
Hey.
We have a gold foil hobby CD Lamb on our eBay right now.
Nice looking cards.
Yeah, they are.
Really
You know, the Illusions cards were so popular when they first came out.
Very nice.
But then people were like, they were trying to figure out what the parallels were. People were like mis-selling the parallels because like they reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And so like people were claiming an orange parallel. Well, it wasn't. It just reflected in the light. So like
it had an orange light at
yeah,
all.
people were getting taken for, cards.
It's a really nice base card.
It is. It is a nice base card. Denzel Mims, Daniel Jones.
Hey. Giants look
How'd
flat
they
out
do?
awful. Giants
Saquon Barkley was a.
I took
Are
him
we
in
done with Barkley yet? Like, is that experiment over?
I don't know. I took Jonesy in a league and he got me 25 points. But I don't know. I think Jones will stay fantasy relevant for a little bit because he could run. But Barkley, man,
Van Jefferson?
he's too talented.
Van Jefferson. He had 80 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's
80
right.
yards and a touchdown
That's
yesterday.
right. He did.
That was last week. I made a call on Van Jefferson. Keep an eye on him.
Tuning back into the first episode.
Kenyon Drake. Yeah, everything's on our YouTube. When are we gonna post? Are we gonna post it on Wednesday or Thursday?
We can post this a little bit sooner now. We can even do this tomorrow night if we want to do. Hey!
There we go. This nice patch. Great Expectations. Josh Kelly.
Very nice.
It's a nice card.
It's a very nice card.
Oh, it is.
This is a nice card. Illusions has a nice base set.
He's buried in the chart there.
Josh Kelly, he was given an opportunity last year, but I don't know what his yards per carry were.
It's a nice looking card though.
Derrick Henry, another disappointing day yesterday.
Yeah.
And Khalil Mack.
Who was the most disappointing, not Rodgers because we talked about him, but who was the most disappointing player yesterday? How about for you, Jeff? Fantasy. Let's go fantasy.
Fantasy. Let's talk fantasy.
What was the most
Musser.
disappointing player? Mostert?
Mostert?
So he's out
Well, he
for
got
8
hurt.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Joe Burrow.
There you go.
Joe Burrow base rookie card.
There you go. Very nice.
That's a good hit.
It's a nice hit.
Joe Burrow base card.
Cool.
Will Fuller.
So he's coming back week 5? Is he on a 4-game
Mostert.
suspension?
What?
Mostert?
No, Fuller.
Will Fuller. Oh, he's always on a suspension.
Yeah.
Didn't he have
I think
what
it's
was it this time?
I think it's
PED?
a 3 or 4 games.
PEDs. I think it's a 4-game.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Hey.
Base card rookie.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
See, we're getting some decent hits here on this one.
So, with the team situation...
Richard Sherman and Kyler Murray base
Yeah,
card.
very nice. With the team situation, who's going to finish... Which team is going to be better, the Bengals or the Eagles?
Bengals. T. Higgins.
That's a hot take. We just kind of rolling
Strong
over.
take.
T.
You
Higgins.
just said the AFC North is so tough.
Well, but he didn't have to play. You just said against the Eagles. He said better with the Eagles.
Man. I will. The thing that's keeping the Eagles in that conversation is the NFC East is the NFC least.
Jalen Hurts. What did Jalen Rieger? Did he make an impression?
Yes, he did. He had a touchdown, I think. I was second half. I was tuning in and out, but Quez Watkins was
Here's
also
a throwback card. A Joe Montana.
Oh, that's
Astounding.
Hey.
Clear.
That's a
It's an
nice card.
acetate card. Joe Montana. Pretty nice.
That's
actually.
a nice card.
It is. Yeah, a little astounding.
That's
Not bad.
very astounding. I think this week's polls.
Keyshawn Vaughn and Justin Herbert.
Oh,
You got a Herbert base rookie card. So
I like this.
not a bad. You got a Herbert and a Burrow and a Hurts.
Yep.
So we got C.D. Lamb, T. Higgins.
I think
That's a heck of a blaster so far.
This box is a lot better than last week.
I would say. Got a Keyshawn Vaughn rookie. We'll see how he is on the Bucks. Dak.
Boom. Good week 1 showing.
Jerry Jeudy, I hear he's laid up.
He is. He got carted off the field.
So that's disappointing.
Yeah, I like Judy.
A lot of people said that he was probably the best wide receiver. They thought he might have been one of the best wide receivers of the bunch last year.
Yeah.
But I think Justin Jefferson is the best of 2020. But that's just me personally.
Yeah. Eagles are going to kick themselves.
Deshaun Watson, does he have a job? I don't know.
He's a healthy scratch.
Michael Pittman, rookie.
Disappointing day. I was a little higher on him.
Taysom Hill.
The T.Y. Hilton injury. I thought Pittman would show up a little bit more, but it turns out Pascal was the receiver to have.
He has seniority.
Yeah. Who, Pascal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Dalvin Cook. Good player, not such a great card, but good player. And a Chase Claypool.
Hey.
We're hitting all the rookies.
Not showing my bias at all. Chase Claypool.
James Conner.
He went to the top of the list, by the way, guys. He's a Steelers fan.
Yeah, Chase Claypool. And here's a Chase Young.
Hey.
And this is a Mystique. This is a parallel. It's a green parallel acetate.
That's a nice card.
Yeah, another. It's a Chase Young clear acetate green.
I would say this box is pretty great.
I think you're getting your money.
What's the retail price on this?
On Illusions, it's under $50.
Yeah, $40, $50, I would say.
Chris Carson, Brian Edwards, another rookie, Brian Edwards,
There you go.
and that is it. So
I like the box.
I
like
do.
the
That
base
was a good
cards.
I mean, that's a great. That you'll break even if not make a few bucks. With the Herbert and the Burrow, you're not going to make a killing. You might be able to sell that Burrow for $7-8. The Chase Young, you could sell the Burrow there for a few bucks. The Hurts you might get for $3 or $4. CD Lamb, but see that's the thing. They're illusions. You got to go for the hits.
Right.
But yeah, no, that was a good. I mean,
I like the cards. I like the base cards.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed episode 2. A little smoother, a little more well put together.
I think so. Yeah, it's only going to get better, I believe.
It's only going to get better. Obviously, any suggestions, feedback, we love to hear it. I want to hear more people when they come
ask
on
questions.
the show. Ask questions.
Ask questions.
If there's anybody that's watching right now, drop a question or some feedback or something else. We'd love to hear it before we go off.
We could answer a question.
Jeff, ask me a question.
We can show off some cards that we have. I got 2 Acuna Bowman Chrome rookies.
Hold him up.
There you go.
2 Bowman Chrome 2017 base. We have some available on our eBay now. We got like 5 or 6 more too in inventory. So I have Marco Luciano Contenders Auto.
Ooh, that's a nice card.
Nice.
Very nice.
Now these are all in our sealed mags, which means it'll pull a 9. It's at least mint. Okay, it's not necessarily gem mint, but it's mint. It will get you a 9 if it's set in for graded. We do not slab it unless it's good enough. I have
enough. That's what my wife calls me.
Acuna Prism Refractor.
Good enough.
Good enough. Okay.
Just good enough.
I am a gem, not a gem mint.
Yes.
Just good enough.
Last but not least is the numbered LaVisca Chenault, numbered to 20 RPA.
Very
It's a Phoenix patch.
I like it.
I like that card too.
He showed up yesterday. He's going to be very involved as long as he stays
Yeah,
healthy.
there's a lot of people on his bandwagon right now.
There's actually a lot of mouths to feed in Jacksonville. If you
Yeah,
look
there is.
across the roster, it's like
Shark.
they got some guys that Shark came out again yesterday. Fumble.
I got an Ozzy Albies auto as well.
Mm.
Rookie auto. He's been on fire lately.
My secret fantasy sleeper pick on Jacksonville is Carlos Hyde because of the former involvement with Urban Meyer.
Carlos Hyde, yeah. The ex-Niner?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Buried on the chart. I took a flyer on him.
The ex every team.
Yeah. He's been on every team.
Was he the ex-Buckeye?
He was
Yeah,
in
Ohio
Houston.
State.
He was in Houston too, wasn't he?
Carlos Hyde?
I believe so.
He's
But
been
that
a year
might
in
be.
Houston too.
Was
wasn't
he?
Spent a year in jail too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it can reform you. All the good athletes have been to prison at least once.
All the good people in Musser
Michael
Sports
Irvin,
have been to jail.
Michael Irvin.
All the good ones.
You're right, Carlos Hyde, the Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah, I used to be a big college football guy.
Well, I just loved how Ohio State lost over the weekend. It made my day that Oregon came in and showed some Pac-12 love or Pac-10 or Pac-18 or whatever the heck the Pac is out there now. College football is going to look different in 4 or 5 years.
With the players getting paid?
Well, that too.
I want to see NCAA football PlayStation back.
I want to see it so bad. I think they finally are on board.
EA
right?
Sports,
Yeah.
NCAA football. I mean, that was
People still call
grew up on that.
People still call NCAA 14 like one of the best.
But yeah, I
football
mean,
games.
March Madness, the NCAA basketball 2010 is still one of the most valuable games you can buy. Like it's over $100 for a PlayStation 2 game.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's insane.
because it's the last college basketball game made.
I'm thinking with the realignment of the SEC with Oklahoma and Texas going there.
Yeah.
The Big 12 invited 4 new teams and and all that. So is it me or should college football and college sports in general go to a very structured division format? I don't know. I like structure. One could say. So,
But aren't the conferences already structured?
yeah, but you know what I mean, though. Like an East, West, Central, blah, 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 blah. There's 10 teams in each division. Very structured format.
It would work if all the schools were equally funded.
I know. Because then every year we have this argument over, okay, a 12-0 Ball State, not Ball State, but 12-0 team from outside of
Well, what
Alabama.
if you had? I agree with what you're saying. What if you had instead the top 50 teams was Division 1,
Yeah.
and then Division 2 was anything after that.
Yeah.
Get rid of the MAC. Get rid of the.
I know. Why are they? I don't
I mean,
know. I don't know.
you always get one, but then when they actually get to the big game, they don't have.
Yeah, I know. I have this dream in my head of breaking down 100 teams into divisions and tiers and doing very structured. I don't know. It's
Someone's
just me.
always going to be like, well, what about Boise
I know,
State?
I know,
It's like,
I
well,
know,
come on.
I know.
But Boise State will cover the spread.
Right.
But they're not going to beat Alabama.
Exactly. All right, so that is. Let's break there for the evening.
We will get some more questions, and I will put this out there before we break off. Why don't we could send? If I'm asking, what cards do you want to see come available? What do you want to see us sell? What are you looking for? Let us know.
As the hobbyist that you are in your living room tonight, what are you looking to buy on eBay or our website within the next couple weeks?
Yeah, just give us some ideas what we should stock.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to make it happen. All right, so signing off to YouTube, signing off to Instagram. Thank you guys for joining us and watching us. We really, really appreciate it. This is how dreams start, with 4 or 5 viewers, and then it goes up from there. We hope to do that. We're not here bringing anything groundbreaking and all-inspiring, but we're just trying to invite you in and talk hobby and talk sports.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob Dog. He's my favorite customer.
Rob Dog.
You know who you are.
You know what's going on.
He's been one of my favorite customers for a long time. He's very loyal. So
That's awesome, guys.
That's
All
all.
right. Hey, have a good night. Enjoy the rest of Monday Night Football.
Yep. See ya.